This is Manjusha Radhakrishnan from Gulf News Dubai, and I'm here with the review of Akshay Kumar's new horror comedy Laxmii. It's out in the UAE cinemas. The movie is releasing in India in an OTT platform, but it's a new movie that's releasing in the UAE after a long spell. So as a viewer, I was quite excited to actually dig into my packet of nachos, but the movie isn't as exciting as the snacks that were given to us. Laxmii takes us into the world of Asif, played by Akshay Kumar. He is a Muslim man who is in love and is married to a Hindu girl played by Kiara Advani. They elope and get married because their folks resist their union. They're not happy with the marriage, and what you see is after 3 years, finally Kiara's families relent and they call them home for a family reunion. But once they reach their family home, a ghost possesses Akshay Kumar's character Asif. See, as a premise, it's quite interesting because it's one of the first few times where a transgender ghost is shown in a horror comedy. And although the intentions are noble, perhaps not to treat them like the other and to represent them accurately, the story isn't very strong, and it does not do much for their rights either. During the day, he is a businessman who dabbles in granite and marble. But at night, in his downtime, he's a part of an association where he goes around dispelling myths about ghosts. They don't exist, he believes. But what happens when a transgender ghost possesses his body and he turns into this vengeful person who's out for blood? And you have then a backstory about why the transgender ghost is out for revenge. There's of course Sharad Kelkar who plays the transgender woman with aplomb. This is one of the rare films where you see a seasoned actor like Akshay Kumar, one of the most bankable stars in Bollywood, seem a bit out of depth. He looks a bit aged and he looks haggard, and he doesn't make a great pair with Kiara Advani. Their love angle and their romance, their union and their relationship makes really very little sense too. But forget that. What really worries me is also the story and the way the wit and the frights are intermingled. In fact, the humor is very, very loud and exaggerated. Somehow, most of the scenes don't work and you rarely laugh. In fact, one of the most scariest parts of this film was that there could be a sequel. Now that's truly a scary part. Another thing that I found unsettling in this movie is that this movie perhaps had promise. It's about transgender rights, equality, it's about land grabbing, but there were too many issues, and the director Lawrence seems to be trying to inject humor, fright, mirth, everything into this one film, and you see random songs that are being inserted into the film. In fact, there's one sequence that is set in Dubai against the Burj Khalifa. That song, although it was a beautiful tourism video for Dubai and Burj Khalifa looked divine, it did not serve much purpose into the narrative. It did not help the story. It just did not accelerate the pace of the movie. It just halted the narrative quite a bit. In fact, songs are inserted randomly too, to make it perhaps more popular, to make it perhaps the action sequences towards the climax was interesting, but other than that, I don't think there was much going for this film. The truly frightening part, as I said, is that perhaps there's a sequel to this film coming, so consider yourself warned. I've gone with 1.5 out of 5. For my full review, go to gulfnews.com.